All right, we're going to open it up and see if it works this time.
The picture quality is like phenomenal.
You should turn your internet off of your phone.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go to your channel, see if there's any sound. Did you put those faces there?
On a little video, yeah.
Oh.
That's not on the live. That's on something.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's not live. Where's your live?
You go up.
Apparently, I don't even know how to operate a cell phone.
All right. One person's here. Can we get a 5x5?
Test. I see test. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, look it. Look it. It's changing.
All right.
Yeah.
Haha.
Can we get a 5x5?
It worked. We have sound. It's working. Yay.
All right. Turn that sound all the way off.
This sound.
Thank you.
I did it.
Yeah. Because when somebody finally jumps on here, they're going to be like,
Although it just says test, so they may just think we're just jumping on real quick to test it.
no, it says
But we
live.
got it working.
Yeah.
We had to restart the whole laptop.
We'll just chill for a little bit.
It's working. Look at you can see the little green dot move.
I love it.
All right, we did it. We figured it out.
Yeah.
So, where's your phone at? Can I see your phone? I was about to hit my charger like a baby.
Why you want my phone? My phone's internet's off.
That's fine. Yay. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do this. Where is? I wonder if you can change the setting, the name of it now that it's on.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you can. Okay, please hold. Sorry, you're gonna have to look at my crazy face. Right?
Mm-hmm. LOL.
Uh-oh. Okay. I did it.
All right.
We fixed it. Well, we just had a big ordeal trying to get this microphone to work on here.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, I had to close out all my open tabs.
Which is like how many?
A lot. Okay, but I did my research so that like I had a million tabs because they all were for different bits of information. Cool. It worked.
All right. So now that we've pretty much spooked the entire internet,
Mm-hmm.
we'll just sit on here and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. One watching. Just kidding, it's me.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I just really want to see if somebody else can give us a 5x5.
What does that mean?
That they can hear you and see you. Also, I think your computer was lagging because it had so much open.
I wouldn't doubt that. Okay.
So it did update the.
Yep, it's on. And then I have sound.
Yep, it's on.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
I did it.
All right. Well, you can 5x5 me, but.
Do I type 5x5?
Yes, you do.
Really? Why?
Because it'll pop up in the chat.
I just need to understand what that means.
It just basically means that everything's working.
I'll have to look that up.
Go ahead and send it, please.
5. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
5x5. Boom.
All right, there it goes. See?
Look at that. Everything's functioning like it should.
Now there's 2 people on. Maybe we can get another 5x5.
Hopefully.
Yeah, whoever's listening in can say, hi, it's working.
All right. Let's see. Can you see viewers?
No,
No.
it doesn't do that unless they starting the chat. Somebody's on here. I don't know who.
Well, if you can hear us,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah. That's all good. So we're just waiting for more people to get in here, and then
Hello.
we'll start talking about whatever people want to talk about.
Hello, R. R.
Oh, hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Sweet.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know what the lag time on the comments versus what we're talking about is. So
I don't know. Oh, no, I don't know. We're not
Stay off
messing
of
with that
that,
right
yeah.
now. I'm not messing with anything while we
No.
finally got it going.
Yeah.
All right.
So now that we got the windows down, all the skeeters are going to come in here to the light. We'll see what people want to talk about.
You hear that?
We got 3 on there now.
I hear something. Oh, it's a cow.
Yeah, that's the neighbor's cow. What do you think it was?
I don't know what I thought it was. Chicken? I thought it was one of our chickens making a weird noise. Wow. Kitty cat.
Yeah.
Baby kitty cat. All right. So we did get it walking.
Yeah, that's good that we got it working, because now we can actually do a better one. Manana. But I think tomorrow we're going to do it on the phone.
If the phone allows it.
Yeah, we'll see, because they said, they said a bunch of stuff.
But for now, we wanted to give the whole live thing a test run and see what's up with everybody. Make sure we had all of our little systems working.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of... So we did a video right before Shabbat, a short video, just like seeing what people wanted to talk about on Springboard conversations. And it seemed like a lot of people in the chat wanted to talk about feast days, particularly Passover, and like how the feast days tied to Yeshua. And we're not gonna do that tonight probably, but we'll bust out some notes and then kind of give you our take on that, where we're at with our understanding. But yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about, hit it in the chat.
So I lost my water. Oh, okay. Sounds are a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Well, seems like it's working. Hopefully, it didn't freeze, and it shows.
Yeah, this is working way more better.
It shows that there's a couple people on here. Looks like R is the only one that's commented. So, man.
But it's
working.
Recording smoothly, and
yeah,
the sound is working.
Yeah, that's the biggest
I got
thing.
a question about the Bible. What's up?
Send it.
We may or may not have an answer for
Yeah,
you.
if we don't, I mean,
we'll definitely look into it.
We'll look into it, but we'll tell you too. It's like we don't have it all. We're not like, yeah.
Ooh, did you hear that?
Yeah, it's probably
That's a big old bug flew in here.
It's a June bug. If she freaks out and like dives out the window, like don't laugh too hard. Definitely put laugh emojis in there. But she's not a big fan of bugs, especially flying around her. So
I just don't like it when they hit me, and I guess I don't like them existing in general, but definitely not when they hit me out of nowhere.
I mean, the best we could do is roll the windows up, and we could fire this up and put the AC on, but then the air is
that might be loud.
Yeah, it might be a little bit much for the viewers. We'll turn it into a sweat box really quick.
All right. The radio's on though. You gotta open your door. Oh, I guess you can do that.
Just do that.
I really don't. Oh, there it is. Found my water.
Let me hit that too.
No way, Jose.
So I don't know. The chat's either super lagging, because right now all it's saying is I got a Bible question, but it's not actually giving us the question.
Let's see where it's showing on my phone. I mean, we're not that far.
What is it? You got that live.
I'm sorry. I was afraid to move.
It's like a little baby June bug.
It was a beetle. It was like a big, hard beetle.
Yeah. Get the laugh emojis going in the chat. That would be funny.
It'll probably be. Actually, that was hopefully the one that was on the floorboard. So hopefully there won't be more of that. We can only hope.
Oh, let me get some of that, love.
No way.
All right. So waiting for people in the chat.
And then R says, I got a question, but didn't post a question.
Yeah. Send it.
So we
Yeah,
are
ask
here
the
if you
question.
want to get some perspective from you. Thank you. I don't know.
Well, I got to have the question in order to have perspective on what you're talking about.
Correct. So we don't know what your question is. So you'll have to ask it.
Yeah, don't be shy. I mean, there's no bad questions, and you're not going to offend me.
Maybe it's not a real person.
Oh, it might be a robot.
It's a bot.
Yeah, we might be getting trolled. So
loud and clear. I mean,
yeah, we'll see.
Are you a real person?
Ours a real person. About to be a moderator.
No.
So.
Oh dear.
So 4 people watching. Seems like one person in the chat. Wait,
There's
there it
no
is.
lag. I sent it, but it didn't make it through.
Okay. Try again.
Yes, I'm real. Okay, cool.
All right, yeah, we got you. Okay.
Are you in Africa? Are you a prince in Africa?
No, dude. Stop.
That's not trying to.
That's not a thing. That is a thing, but that's not a thing right now.
Okay, so I'll try again. They say they try again.
Yeah, it's all good.
They them.
Don't do that,
I'm
dude.
sorry. My sense of humor is off. I'm sorry. I'm learning. Where'd you go?
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the question, and I'm waiting for other people to interact in the chat, because it can't really be a Q&A if there's no
cues. Otherwise, we just go on some rants here, which we could totally do. But
no, we're not going to do that.
Oh, dang it! I love me some rants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you're in here, let us know that you can hear us also this time.
All right. Says there's 5 people in there. Who do we got now?
Striker. Shalom.
Shalom. What's up?
Striker.
Yep.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, everybody can hear us.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a little green thing and it's moving. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's working.
Also, I think that there's a little bit of a lag, so it's all good. So if you guys got questions or anything, send it. Oh, shalom, Dud.
What's up, guy?
Good.
The sound is working.
Hey. This is like take 4. Evidently, if you have 900 tabs open on your laptop, one of them is going to monopolize, so you can't do lives because they can't hear you.
Okay, but in my defense, it was a good reason to have a bunch of tabs open.
Yeah, she's doing a big study on clean and unclean and common and
common versus unclean and dietary laws and whether they were done away with and all that. But
she's actually doing a huge write-up on it, which is phenomenal. It's got a lot of information and verses in context, how that goes. I don't know if I can put it up on here. I need to get Patreon probably so we can put it on there, because you can do write-ups on there pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody would actually want to read all of it, so I may have to do a super duper summarized version and just include the verses for people to look at.
Also, we need to get Dudley and make him a moderator on here so we could
I don't know how to do any of that. I don't think we need a moderator.
I think you click on his name and then you can like make him one.
What?
Right?
Oh, dots.
Yeah.
Put user in timeout. Dudley, you're going to timeout.
No, you're not.
Nobody puts baby
Add.
in the corner.
As a moderator.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
What?
Managing. Can manage blocked words. I don't know what that means.
Yes, he gets all the stuff. There you go, Dud.
Can review and remove chat messages.
Yeah, there you go, Dud. You should have a blue wrench now.
Maybe. We'll see. Did it work?
It worked.
We don't know how all this works. We figured we'd do a little test run with it all.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So, did we get a question yet on there?
Nope.
Focaccia
pizza and cookies.
Oh,
Was it focaccia pizza or focaccia, pizza, and cookies?
What do you say? Put kosher dad in timeout?
Put a kosher dad style paperwork out. No,
Oh,
listen,
yeah,
it's kind of
maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know enough about that, but I'm gonna say that most people will probably not want to read the whole thing. They just want the super duper summarized versions. So I may have to do the
Shalom,
beginning.
Matt. All right, there's a question. Send it, babe.
Wanted to get your perspective on why the Father said completely destroy certain groups of people and why.
Oh, well, that's pretty basic. So I think most of that is because in the beginning, like, there was everybody knew, like, there was a creator and everybody knew his ways, and as people drifted from that, they pretty much went in defiance. Like, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do what the 12 tribes are doing, and they're basically just doing evil stuff. If you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, I mean, what were they doing? I mean, the dudes were coming to, like, rape the guys that were there, and I mean, that's in the kingdom, that's a no-go. And yeah, and I'm pretty sure that that's not the only time. I mean, he kind of did that to the whole world when the whole world just got so evil. I mean, I think that's what the flood was about. But also, I don't think the Father was really happy about doing that, and I'm pretty sure that's why he made a covenant that he wasn't going to do that anymore. And that's why we see rainbows today. Like, hey, you have my word that I'm not going to do this to the earth anymore. So, not tripping on floods, which is awesome. What are they talking about in the chat, babe?
Also, there, it talks about, like, they were like giants in those days, and they were like, I mean, I don't know if we read Enoch or whatever, but it goes into more detail about it, and people were eating, like, the giants were eating people, like they were just eating. Yeah, well, blood. And
what were the giants mixed with?
Angels.
Yeah, so that's like no go.
Corruption. Yeah, corrupting what he made to be pure.
Yeah. Not how.
And even with Sodom and Gomorrah, he gave them like a way out. If these many people are fine, if these many people are good, if these many people are good.
Yeah, he went all the way down to what, 10 or 5?
I don't even remember.
Like, it went, like, he gave all. There was 10 righteous men. Would you save this city?
Yeah.
And the Father was like he's like, yeah, but he already knew there wasn't. So, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that's kind of where I take it. What's in the chat, babe?
I have my phone.
Yeah, you have to keep up with that.
Dudley said he'll ask for the clean and unclean layout and send it to me for my research.
Okay.
And then Stryker says focaccia bread pizza, period, pesto, sun-dried tomatoes, and mozzarella.
Sounds fire.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's like it's like airy and crispy kind of, or something, right?
Shalom, Miss Lovely Dudley. You might make her a moderator too.
Yay! I love her. Okay, how do I?
Arsid, thanks for the answer. I don't know if it was detailed enough, but it was kind of in general. Like why he did it. Nope, go up the top. She needs the whole thing. There you go.
Whoa!
Oh, we're coming right back.
We didn't die. The card lights turned off.
Hi. We're back. The top one, please.
Wait, this one says can review and remove chat messages and hide or put users in timeout.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Dudley's going to have a different one.
Whatever.
We're still figuring it all out.
Yeah. All right. Miss Lovely Dudley, you got a blue wrench now.
It was pretty good. I'm still tweaking the recipe. Yeah, I haven't made that yet, but I really, really want to. Also, there's so much, Dud. There's so much about all that on there. That's why the document is so
It's very detailed.
Yeah, because there's so much already.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to do like for dummies version.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do in the beginning, like literally, like you're talking about this verse, go look up these verses. You talking about this verse, go look up these verses, and then like at the end, then I can say if you want a more detailed explanation, go through the whole study.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole study, and that's like how deep of the rabbit hole you want to jump down, because if you look really hard, you're about to get red pilled for sure.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of the channel, I think, is to red pill people.
Yeah.
And if not, then it's to lift brothers and sisters up, and like at least as far as we can understand. And like, just so you guys know, we don't have a monopoly on understanding or anything like that. This is just where we're going to share where we're at right now, and hopefully that grows and changes over time. We've been keeping Torah. This will be our 5th season.
Really?
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah.
No.
Sukkot will be 5. It'll be our 5th Sukkot.
No way.
Yeah. This is our 4th Passover.
Josiah was one when I had my nervous breakdown.
No, I just
and
added
that was
up.
when I became a believer, and then we came to
Torah. Wait, just let me add it up. Scots was the 1st. Fox Camp 2nd, and then last year, and then this year. That's 4. Okay, last year is when I did the lamb last year. Okay, so that was our 3rd one. This is our 4th, and so Sukkot would be our 5th Sukkot, because the first one we did in the campground.
Oh yeah.
Okay, who's talking in the chat? Because you got to keep up with that. That's your job.
No, she says, "Oh, thanks, I'm on duty." I would say more than just red pill, more so show your walk. Word.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Matt says, "This is our first Passover." Yeah,
Matt. Well, we're gonna do a video or maybe a live, and then we're gonna break down, like, because it talks about Passover in 2 different spots. It talks about like how they did it in Exodus, and then it talks about it in Deuteronomy, like the second telling. But that's like when they're at the temple doing it, which is a little bit different when they're in Exodus. And since we don't have a temple, I kind of relate more to the Exodus style of doing it. I'm not saying either one's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's how I see it for now. And hopefully there is a greater Exodus.
Yeah.
That's another topic.
We know we're about to get through our cupboards. We got what, a week left or something?
We're gonna get raptured out of here.
Shut up. We usually go through the cupboards for like a week ahead of time. We'll go through the cupboards, and then we'll just stack all the leavened food out, and like this is what we're eating for the next week. Like eat all the leaven.
Yeah, then you're super bloated going into unleavened bread.
Striker says, "I'm confident there was a lot more evil those groups or nations practiced than we were aware of, but it's important facet of understanding Yah's character and the obedience going to war his people." Word. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people have a hard time when they're first starting to get into the word, is like, "Ooh, that's like mean or evil," or like, what kind of creator would do that? And it's like, the truth of the matter is, the world is evil.
Yeah.
People make it evil, not him. And see, he gives free will, and he gives you the choice, because if you don't have a choice, it's not really free will. We'd just be robots. We'd all get saved and we'd wrap this thing up. But that's not how it works. I have the free will. If I want to pull her hair right now, I can pull her hair. But I also have the free will to just give her a nice touch, right? So he's not going to come down and stop me from exercising free will, because he gave it to me, because he wanted me to choose to love and follow him. If you don't have the choice to do the opposite of love and follow him, then is it a choice? Is it really free will? And is it just? And he's just. And so, yeah, people are capable of great evil, but he's not going to come down here and just, stop evil from happening to you, or, to me. I'll just speak about my stuff. He's not going to come down and save me from a bad guy, shooting me in a parking lot or taking my wallet or something like that. That's not how that works, because that guy has free will. But what he is going to do is he's going to give me discernment and wisdom to watch for these things. He's also gonna, if something bad happens, he's going to help steward me or her or whoever through it. The Bible doesn't talk about, he promises that he's going to it's all going to be like, a bowl of cherries and it's like all perfect and wonderful. It says that it's going to be hard and you have to endure.
in Ephesians, I want to say 6, it talks about like that it's a spiritual battle. It's literally a battle of good and evil. And in the garden, Satan was tricking.
He was
Eve.
Yeah.
He was tricking Eve into disobeying the Father. And then Yeshua goes in the wilderness, and Satan is trying to tempt him to disobey the Father. So the whole thing is about the Father has created what truth is, and the enemy is trying to distort that so that you don't serve the Father and that you serve him.
Or yourself, or your flesh. Which which in turn serves him.
Yep. Whether it be lust or greed or whatever. That's why it says you can't serve two masters. Yeah. You pick one or the other.
Yep.
Cutting through the Talmudic traditions online has been a chore. Yeah, man.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That's so like, and I'll be honest with you. So like our first Passover, we'll just call him Cousin Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So Cousin Scott, he had a lot of the Messianic traditional kind of stuff that came with it. And traditions aren't bad if they're not placed above the obedience of the commandments. They're okay. Like he did a Seder play and it was well done. It was beautiful, man. It was awesome. It was so cool. It was like Passover is the one that just gets me right in the feelers every season, and because of what it means. And I said this in a video one time, like when you slay the lamb and you realize what we did to Yeshua, there's nothing like when you do an actual Passover, it's not the same. You'll never look at it the same. And I know, like when that happens, and because you can't break any bone, it can't be broken, so you have to cut its throat, and you don't shoot it. It doesn't suffer. It's like really quick. There's a way to do it that's righteous. And I'll tell you, when we do that, being covered by the blood means something totally different. And all the men standing there, we don't say nothing for 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, we're quiet because it's just like, ugh, and it's super duper powerful. It's one little piece of it, because it, in the entirety of what it is something different, and then like Night of Watch, shoot, a few years ago, we didn't even know about it. She was studying, saw it, brought it to me, and I was like, oh, we are supposed to be doing that. And then I brought it to another brother, and it kind of unfolded. And so now, it's like, is it Night of Watches? Is it Night of Watch? Do we take like, so many people are going to stay this hour, and then these guys are going to sleep until this time comes? We don't know. We're still trying to figure all this stuff out. I know that we're trying to do the best we can to honor the Father and how we walk out any of this. What's up, Oak?
And not only that, but when you experience like just the connections between all of these things that the Father had everybody doing from the very beginning that all pointed to the Messiah, and then you see them after, like, we know about the Messiah, we have turned our life over to him, and when you do these actions, these little the feast days or whatever, you really see just how the Father so perfectly created all of this and commanded these things that perfectly point to the Messiah.
And you also see the Messiah walked out, because he's the Word come flesh, and you see him in all of it, first fruit, everything, every bit of it. And it just really, the scriptures start to come to life in a meaningful way that I never had in regular, the Big C church. There was so much gray area that I couldn't get into, that it really, I tried to like just go past it and forget about it and just brush it under the rug. And that worked for a time. But then when I started studying, the scriptures didn't match up with what people were actually doing or teaching on. It ended up just all feel good messages.
Bye.
We're back.
Also, Moose is on.
Oh,
and Cindy P's on.
What's up, y'all? Yeah, I got to get some more coffee from you, bro, because I drank all that stuff I got from you at the Ruckus, and it was fire, and I miss it.
It was, yeah, we drink it pretty quick.
Yeah, the Grindstone blend is fire.
Yeah.
I think it was I don't remember. I think it was the dark. Maybe you made a light. I can't remember.
Either way, the Moose Run coffee was bomb.
Yeah, either way.
R says, evil is relying on the existence of something good, like rust on a car or cancer in a body. Evil cannot exist without good, but good can exist without evil, since God is the standard for good.
Yeah, that's a good word. Is that R?
Yep.
Yeah, R. That's a good word, and that's like a really good way to look at it. I don't have a monopoly on understanding, and so your guys' feedback in the chat is like, it's the best, because really what it does is it gives us all an opportunity to fellowship online and like talk about different stuff, because I promise you that we're going to learn as much from you guys as anyone else.
And I'll tell you what, I have a friend who's coming to the way right now, and her and I talking on the phone and just like bouncing these things like, oh my gosh, guess what I read today? Oh, and like, oh, I just prayed and then I got an answer. And like, it literally just keeps firing each of us up. And that fire to me, like there's a verse that says like, do not quench the Holy Spirit. And it says, don't put your light under a bowl or a basket or whatever. There is, to me, like the spirit and understanding and all of that, it should light a fire.
Yeah.
And as we fellowship together and as we communicate together, we can like keep each other lit, because I'm not always going to have a good day. At the same time, like we could alternate. So if I'm having a bad day, she can kind of like light me back up, and if she's having a bad day, I can light her back up. But in a group like this, you have so many people where like, if you have something like what's the word, if you have fruit to offer, it offers everybody, or it benefits everybody.
Yeah, if one person in the chat gets something out of it, it was worth saying.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's it, because that word might have been for somebody that was in the chat. And I love that part of this kind of interaction.
Yep. Matt says, we do the feast in remembrance of Messiah. It's so beautiful. I can't believe I missed it for 37 years, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. And I was bitter about that at first.
Yeah.
But the truth is that everything has a season and a time. And to be honest with you, I don't know if we weren't as broken as we were, if we would have heard.
It took a really hard crushing.
Yeah. So I did a little bit on a video. I'll touch on it really quick. So basically, I had my best friend and his dad, and we started like home churches when I lived in Dallas like 20 years ago. And me and this dude, his name is Josiah, and he was my best friend forever, man. I mean, we did everything together. And even when we lived in different states, we still came and saw each other. It just, we had a really close bond, like closer than family members.
We named our son after him, actually.
Yeah, we really did. And so that being the case, his dad was a pastor, ordained and all this, and then his grandfather, his dad's dad, was. And so we were doing a home church, and I don't know what happened, but I know that year I'd been studying the word a lot. And these guys basically kind of picked my life apart and singled us out like we were bad parents,
twisted the scriptures.
Yeah, they and everything they were saying didn't really line up with scripture, and it broke me, because at that point, because he was my pastor, I really thought like the dude hung the moon, and I didn't know that I was subcontracting my faith to the guy. And what I mean by that is, if he said this is what this scripture meant, then that's what it meant to me. And because I didn't know any different, I didn't know I needed to study and let the scriptures prove the scriptures.
Or that was even possible, or that we were allowed to look into it that deep.
I didn't want to, I didn't. And if you did question in a way, doubting what he said, I see now that it was kind of cultish, because he would, well, you're not submitting to your elders. And I was like, oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm not trying to push, but now that relationship of over 20 years fell down, and it broke up, and it crushed me. I started doubting my faith, doubting what was real. And what ended up happening is we were in Arkansas. We left Arkansas, moved to Oregon, and I couldn't pray or read the word without thinking about these guys, because every time I did, I'd be reading the word and I'd be like, man, if they were just reading this, they'd understand what they're saying. Doesn't match up, and every single time. And every time I prayed, it was just like I would start thinking about them, because I was broke. And it didn't change for me until the point where I was like, you know what, Father, I don't want to know their truth, and I don't want to know my truth. I just want to know yours. And I had no idea what I was praying for. No idea. And so he did. He started showing me truth. And I was watching a daily brief early 2020, and this big old bearded man was like, and we're going to pray. And I'm like, well, who's this dude? And he prayed, and it was a real prayer. And then I was like, man, who is this guy? It's because like the brief was phenomenal. The intel was like the way he talked about stuff, exactly the way we were looking at things. And it was like, it was kind of a refreshing kind of thing. And then this guy prayed at the end of it. And I was like, well, that's weird. And sure enough, I watched a few more videos, and then one day he was doing a Tactical Tuesday back in the day, and somebody said, well, why don't you eat bacon? And in the comments, he just started going, and he started firing off scriptures and how they aligned with that's not what we do, and these are forever through your generations. And I was like, after the video, I was like, I was feeling kind of weird. I was like, I don't know. And sure enough, I after the video, I went back through it and I wrote down all the scriptures, and then I looked them up and I looked at what they said, and it was like, hey, these are forever. We don't eat that. It's unclean for you. Blah, 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 all this different stuff. And I was like, man, it doesn't say that. And then I looked it up and it said it. And then everything from that point started to change because my eyes were starting to open, and the man-made doctrines that I had adopted started to lose their value in my belief system. And I started to question and wanted to I wanted to have the scriptures. I wanted this to define itself. I didn't want man to tell me what it meant if I couldn't figure something out. I wanted the Father to reveal it to me. And that truth prayer is what did it. That's what kicked it off for me. What's going on in the chat?
So where are we at? Oki says parable of the talents. I mean, this was what we were talking about earlier. Parable of the talents kind of applies. Only those that don't try to do are wrong. Whether you get it 10% or 90% right, it's more important to do and learn than to do nothing.
Yeah, if you 100%. Know. So, and that's in the New Testament too. If you know the right thing to do and you don't do it, for you, this is sin. That's the other biblical definition of sin. And it's about your personal walk. Because if I'm convicted about something, like let's say I'm convicted about sugar, am I supposed to hold you guys to that standard? No, because it doesn't match up with the scripture. It can be my own thing. It can be something I'm convicted on, but I can't try to hold that to somebody else. That might be something the Father's showing me for me personally. That's not overall everything. That's not just to try to hold somebody to that.
But if there's like adultery or something, for sure, the scriptures are very clear that we should be making sure that we correct that person and address it.
Also, if you have a personal conviction, my belief is if you have a personal conviction about something, it shouldn't negate if it goes against something in scripture. You should really question where that thought is coming from, because it is our responsibility to hold every thought captive. So if you struggle with bad thoughts or sexual immorality, whatever's in your brain, and it's not coming from the Father, it's your responsibility to push pause on that and understand who's playing that tape in your head, whether it's your flesh or the enemy trying to get you back into some stuff. You got to pump the brakes on that, fall on your face and be like, hey, Father, I don't want this. I need you to take it from me. I'm willing to give it to you.
Yep. And I went through I was super on fire. I started drinking a little too heavily and pretty much lost that connection. And I was still trying to read. I was still doing Sabbath. I was still trying to pray, but that presence, I guess, that connection, the fire was totally snuffed out.
Yeah.
And it was shortly after I stopped drinking that fire started returning, and I swear it immediately, again, just like when I was a baby Christian, that fire relit. My brain is just exploding, trying to be in the Word.
Don't worry, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here. And that prayer where I could just begin a prayer and he pulls the file from the drawer, you know what I mean? For a verse that I need or whatever, that connection is there. And I had I don't know, right now it's our little spiritual fire is being relit and we're so excited. And then like the father's like, hey man, you got to quit. Well, I've been vaping forever. He's like, you got to stop vaping. And we're like, crap. But my point here is I have tried to quit vaping, quit smoking over and over throughout the years in my flesh. And it never works. But when I'm walking in the spirit and the Father is leading me and directing me, it's almost like he just says like, I don't know how to explain it.
I know what you're saying.
Like he just is like, okay, this has to go. And you're like, oh shoot. Okay. And then it doesn't become that like fleshly trying to force something to happen. If that makes sense. Like he's like, hey, we're doing this together.
Well, the line between spirit and flesh becomes abundantly clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot easier to fight in the spirit than it is in the flesh.
Yeah.
You know, and then
let me see, where are we at? Sorry, I lost track of where we were. Iron sharpens iron. Those intimate moments on his holy days are what answer an important part of the question secular Christians have about keeping Torah. It's more of a get to than just a have to.
Oh,
Word.
It's way more of a get to. It's definitely not a burden at all.
Yeah, when you hear people say that they're trying to bind you under the law and you're just like, you have no idea what a blessing this like burdensome law is.
Oh yeah. So what's Yeshua say about his yoke?
Yeah, it's light.
And it's not a burden?
Yeah, no, there's another verse that says like some, maybe it is.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Somebody probably pulled it in there. But yeah, so it's not, this isn't made, so like the difference between how the Jews were doing it back in the day and how they do it today. Hey, you hit me right in the ear with that. That was a good shot. The difference between how the Jews were doing it back then and today hasn't really changed much, except for I think they have more man-made tradition and added laws. So my understanding, I could be wrong, my understanding of Judaism is basically, all right, we're not going to do any work on the Sabbath. What does that look like? Well, the scriptures say like you're not going to do any work, cause anybody else to work, and you're going to bake what you bake and boil what you boil, and you're going to rest, right? And then it's a holy convocation, right? So according to like their books, you can't turn the lights on, you can't, there's so much stuff you can't do. But it's all extra biblical. It's not in the scriptures. It's their take on it, and it makes it burdensome. It makes it to where it's almost impossible to do. And I think that's the biggest reason that Yeshua railed against it, because they put above the commandments their own traditions, you know, and that's when traditions are bad. You know, because some traditions are okay as long as you're not trying to put them ahead of the scriptures and walking it out. And
in my little study, my little dietary law study, I'm realizing like the word common that was used to describe like nothing you eat can make you. It was saying common. It doesn't say defile you, but the word common was used for whether like you have a regular bowl. And that would be common until it was purified according to the ceremonial laws. And then it would become holy for the temple. Unclean would be like a menstruating woman or a pig, which would never be in the temple because it's unclean. So the difference between common and unclean was literally for, it just hasn't been made holy yet. But then what the Judaism aspect of it was, they were requiring in their daily life outside of the temple to require the ceremonial laws for the bowls, the cups, the hand washing, all of that to become more holy and set apart than anybody else. So that was like, they're like holier than thou. Like we won't hang out with anybody who's common, who doesn't like sanctify every piece of their lives before they eat.
Look, homie, it's not a sin to just stick it in the dishwasher is all I'm saying.
But the ceremonial laws weren't meant for daily life. They were meant for going to the temple. So to require those of anybody is just, you think that that's going to make you holy. So what he's saying is like, cool, you've washed your bowls, but your heart is full of uncleanness. Hold on. It says, I'm a little slow in reading because we're getting sidetracked, but Dudley says that is the key, the eye-opening that the Father does when you are ready. For sure.
Yep.
And I had that, my verse that popped in before he started trying to tell me about Torah. I was questioning the prayer, or the thing that Yeshua says, "Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness." But I didn't even see that part. I only saw the part that said, "Depart from me." And I was like, how do I know that you're going to know me? How do I know that you'll know me when I get there? I want to make sure that you know me.
Yeah. Hey.
And then he started coming to Torah and he said, I don't think we're supposed to eat pork. I'm like, that's the Old Testament. He said, prove it. And I did. I realized it doesn't say we can eat pork.
Here, read the rest of these comments, love. Hey, just so you guys know that don't know this about me, like I have really bad dyslexia. Not that I get like letters or numbers mixed around. It's that the comprehension part of me trying to read, like the sentences don't make sense in my brain. Like I can read them, but not in a way that like will make sense in here.
Yeah.
And so my
that's
comprehension,
why I like me reading it out loud.
So she'll read it to me. And
also,
then we'll go
Patty, Nancy, Cindy P, are all on.
Yeah, I'm tracking.
Okay. And then would you guys share your understanding of what parts of the Torah that Yeshua fulfilled? My understanding is sin offerings and burnt offerings. Is there other? I would say common things like.
Well,
because he said, what I've cleansed, don't call common. He's talking about the Gentiles. So there is no common versus more holy than others. The ceremonial laws, the sacrificial laws.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's it, because even the sojourners within their gates prior to that would keep the Sabbath or feast days and stuff like that. That's a good question. I can't pull it out of the Rolodex right now, but I know there's a little bit more to it. So what's the answer? What'd they say again?
What part of the Torah has Yeshua fulfilled? My understanding is sin offerings and burnt offerings.
Well, the sin of law and death. So like now we don't get stoned to death for one, right? So like before, if you sinned against the Father, I mean, it was like a death sentence. And it is still that, except for you're not getting stoned to death. You can still separate yourself from the Father, but I think that repentance isn't a new thing. But I think in the format with having a mediator, which is our Messiah, it is different because we have a mediator now, and that we don't have to go through some high priest that's, in the flesh. We've got our Messiah, and that is a game changer for us, because we wouldn't even be able to come to him if he wouldn't have already paid a ransom for us. We wouldn't even be able to go to the Father.
Yeah, understanding the way that the temple was set up, they had to go through the purification process. Everything in the temple had to go through the purification process. There was like the Holy of Holies. Like there was like a whole ordeal to even be even close to near the Father. And so now he's he tore the veil, right? That Holy of Holies is literally like in us now. So he is made where our unrighteousness and our uncleanness and our unholiness has been filtered, where like when it says we can come boldly to the throne. And the fact that forever they had to go through all of these things to get even back on the mountain. They were like, go do all these things, become clean, and then come out to the mountain, but don't get too close. And so now the fact that which is why that verse that yet while we were still sinners, he died for us. I kept trying to catch bugs. That's why that is so important, is because we were super unclean. We were super not allowed to be anywhere near that temple at all. Like not even in the town, probably. We would have been just killed. But now we have been like indwelt with the Spirit in each of us to walk with him directly, if that makes sense.
All right. Comments.
Yes, that's what his yoke is easy and his burden is light.
That's right.
Aligning your heartbeat with Yah's, being in covenant with him is priceless. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Miss Cindy
there
says,
isn't anything else.
That is legalism that will weigh you down for sure. And that's why he was saying, like, why are you trying to hold these burdens on them that you and your fathers couldn't even keep? Hold on. Where did I go? Oh, Oki says fulfilled doesn't mean done away with. Word. Yeshua fulfilled, and aka completed the word. He is the word. When it comes to the parts of the Torah we don't do, it's not so much he did away with them, but that we cannot.
Well, and also look at the word like look at the word of what that is actually, because it's like embodied, right? So it's like to be it. And I think that gets passed by a lot. Is that he embodied the Torah, right? So he didn't sin, and then under the law he was, under man-made thing. So I can't articulate it right now. It's a good topic, and I think that we'll probably talk about this one forever.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, that's one of the big verses that people literally like skim right over. Is they're like, look, he did away with it. And it's like, if you read it, it says, I didn't come to abolish, which literally means to do away with. He did not come to do away with it, but he came to
fulfill,
be it. He came to be the sacrifice. He came to be the purification process, you know,
the Passover lamb, and the first fruits, and all the different, that's what it just goes back into the feast days. But in that, if you're in Matthew 5:17, I mean, he didn't come to abolish, but to fulfill. And then right after that, and it's like, until not the smallest jot, not the smallest tittle, not the smallest stroke of what is written in the Torah for the lost will be done away with, until heaven and earth pass away. Like, heaven and earth ain't passed away yet.
Yeah.
And all is not accomplished. It says until all is accomplished. All is not accomplished. If it was, why is he coming back to like lay waste to all the evil? Because there's still things to be done.
Might sound funny, but do you think lifting weights goes against the Sabbath if I consider that one of the ways I spend time with God?
Hey, if you're going to phrase it in lifting weights, I mean, it doesn't sound like you're working out, but are you working?
Yeah, pretty much to us, if anything says the word work in it, like yard work, working out.
So, and everybody, I mean, it's your house, it's your decision. For me, I've wanted to like wrench on my motorcycle on Shabbat and thought about it. And honestly, I don't think it's what we're supposed to do. I think if we're going to do something, it should be like fellowshipping with others. It should be studying his word, trying to come up with answers to stuff that we're not sure about, fine-tuning our understanding. And then also, it's a day of rest. Like, rest, man. Like, rest. You can work out 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Rest. Your body can rest. That's good. And if that messes up your workout routine, it blows. But
I bet your body still needs it.
I bet you the Father ain't mad at you if you don't work out. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I think, going on a walk or whatever would be one thing, but if you like dread the walk and you're just like, ugh, then probably don't do that.
Oh, Mr.
But I think we've gotten very comfortable with like, it's like, oh, it's Sabbath. We don't have to work today. Let's go just like watch TV all day. But like the point of it is that, like we're supposed to be all refreshing our bodies, but also our spirits and our soul, like our minds and all of that. And if we're not feeding on the word in that time, then like we're resting our body, but we're not like what's it called? We're not re-energizing it. Yeah. I don't know what the word is.
So I'm going to do a video on what Yeshua says to the great tempter when he's in the wilderness. And he's talking about, if you're hungry, turn these breads into stone. And what does he say right after that? He says, like, you're not going to live on bread alone, but every word. And so what are you living on? You're living on every word, but the every word is like, if you're not in the word reading, if you're not reading the word, then your spirit man's starving to death.
Yeah.
You have to feed him. You know what I mean? You got to feed it with truth. That's just the way it works, man. And so if you're like, I'm going to do a video on it,
and realistically, back in the Bible, like on Sabbath, they were all gathering.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't have a bunch of these. Everybody didn't have these.
They were all gathering, and people were like sharing about the word, talking about the word, talking about the Father, praying, healing people. Like they were like, that was like the one day a week where everybody's work stopped, and they were like, and it says that there's people that were just like waiting for them to come back and teach again on Sabbath. You know what I mean? The next Sabbath. And so like, when we compare, obviously we're not going to do it perfect. None of us really know what the perfect Sabbath looks like.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to like, should I just be vegging out on my phone or watching movies all day, or should I fellowship and get in the Word and like pray and see if there's like, we can even do like a little mini atonement where we reevaluate our week and see where we were in error, you know what I mean? And like process what we may need to
that's
look
what
at.
The Father did, right? So he on the seventh day he rested, and then he looked at all that he had done. He kind of like reviewed it all. And for me, I build stuff, or I work on stuff, I do construction. So at the end of the week, I kind of look back and I reflect on how my week went, and was there anything that I missed, or could I have done something better? Could I have been more efficient with my time? And I don't spend a lot of time doing that, but it's natural for me to do that after I've done a bunch of stuff and created a bunch of stuff and built things and finished things and started things. It's a natural thing for me. I'm assuming that I get that from the Father.
So Matt says the Greek word for fulfill can also be rendered as to carry out or to accomplish. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And then we have a couple things about the Sabbath, which I really like. It says Dana says 12th C.
Yeah.
Just did a video about working out on Sabbath. He suggests stretching and light walks, not breaking a sweat. Oki says, word. Not our opinions that matter. Ultimately, it's his opinion. I'm a chef. It's my talent and delight. Same for storm chasings. I don't do those on Sabbath days unless it's necessary for good. Donkey in a ditch.
Yep.
Mine. J. John says, mindset. Hey, J. Johns. Mindset is the key. If it's a question, then it may be an indicator. Would not working out bring you closer to the Father? Did I read that right? Okay, I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those are all great little tidbits there. And we're just kind of
that's a good word, Jada. If it's not bringing you closer to the Father, then that's kind of I think that's kind of the purpose of the restart, because without him we all are going to struggle bad. And there's not, for me, after doing this for as long as I have, as many weekly Sabbaths, I don't think I could go another week without having that moment to reflect and to chill and to think about him and his creation, and to have a gut check on what I'm into and what I'm not. And then just the simple thing about being obedient on the Sabbath to what the Sabbath is. So if you study a bunch of it, you can get really deep on it. Like for us, we don't cook on the Sabbath, because when they were in Exodus, it's like when they were picking up the manna, and they were given the commandments. It was like, hey, this is the Sabbath day, and so day of prep is you're going to collect a double portion, and you're going to bake what you'll bake and boil what you'll boil, for tomorrow is the Sabbath rest. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you're going to double down on your stuff Friday, so that on the Shabbat that you don't have to do any of that. Now, some people cook. That's your house and your conviction, but for us, because of that understanding of those verses, we don't cook. When we do, we prep so that we don't have to cook, because it's not cooking to make a sandwich real quick.
Yeah.
It's not laborsome to us. It's also not laborsome for us to turn the crock pot on or to turn the oven on and warm some food that we've already prepared. So we're not preparing, we're not changing the consistency of what we're making. It's already made. We're just heating it up. And if I had a fire going and I kept it going all night, would I throw some cold food in a freaking Dutch oven and I wouldn't feel bad about it at all if it was already made and prepared. Yeah, if we've already done the work, the labor part of it in that first 6 days, then yeah, I'm good with that. But that's my house, and that's our take. I'm not saying if you don't do it that way, you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying that's our conviction. What else we got in the comments, love?
No, sorry. Was it you that made the delicious beef bacon? It sure was him. At the women's retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bomb.
Yeah, actually, J. Johns, you owe me a little bit of that, fam. I'm gonna have to come out there and visit you because if not just to hug your neck, I'm gonna need some of that beef bacon for sure. That stuff's fire.
Didn't we just see somewhere? I can't get it. Wasn't there? No.
What do you want?
I need to close this out.
Okay.
I'm gonna read. Oh, bye again.
We're still here, guys. Just, we got timers. Hey, well, it's a school night, so we're gonna have to clock off of here. But we had a blast.
It is Leviticus 23. I don't understand.
Oh, you couldn't find it in yours?
I didn't see it in this one.
I'm trying to get her on the scriptures.
It's all the words. They're just too much.
They're not too much, bro.
They just make all the other words don't make sense. I like this one. It's in English, although I know. Oh, it does. I just scanned right over it. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day is a day of solemn rest, a holy convocation.
Yeah, a set apart gathering.
Yeah. Oh. So that's a little day of fellowshipping.
Yeah.
Like we should be gathering. That's a holy convocation. Maybe that was probably 20 minutes later because I zoned out trying to find it. I have no idea how long it's been since we were on the Sabbath thing, but we were talking about fellowshipping, but it does say it's a holy convocation.
Thanks, Okie Boss. Yeah, we're gonna do more for sure. I don't know if we're gonna try to pick a day. We might do like Friday Night Live, like rolling into Shabbat, or first day like today. It depends. We have busy schedules, so like when I can do this, I do it. And usually, if I'm gonna shoot, when I shoot a vid, it's like I shoot a vid and then I'm right back to work or whatever other project I was working on. So, but yeah, this has been cool. So, I don't know. I guess that's it.
And it's a lot cooler because we used to do live videos when we Facebook
had
like lives and stuff, and we would just be bored. So we'd get on Facebook Live and we'd hang out with people on there. But it's way cooler that we're like Bibling. You know what I mean? That we're talking to people that are wanting to talk about the Bible instead of trying to go and like throw what is it called? Throw your pearls to the swine or whatever, where you're like,
that's different. Yeah.
Is it?
Well, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah. So, I mean, I did a lot of Facebook Live when we were out fishing. That was fun.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just mean trying to talk to people about the Bible that don't want to have this conversation versus sitting here with a bunch of people who do want to have this conversation.
Or if they want to have the conversation and they have questions to ask.
Right.
That's the best part, I think, is like, and that's the thing. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, shalom, guys. That's it. And we'll catch you next time. I'll put a video out quick on Passover and all the stuff that goes with that and unleavened bread. I'll go over all the notes I have on that. So anyhow, thanks, guys. Shalom.
Bye. Make me a sandwich. Okie told her to make him a sandwich.
Make a sandwich.
She said, yeah.